Hey quilters, welcome to AccuQuilt Live. I'm Pam Heller, AccuQuilt's cutting expert. Thanks so much for joining us today. Emily's in the house. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Excited to be hump day and almost, it's a good day when it's Wednesday.
It's a good day here in Nebraska. All right, where's everyone watching from? Okay, first of all, Jefferson gets the prize gold star today because Jefferson is watching from Nairobi, Kenya. Nairobi, yes. Did I say that right? And Carrie's watching from Omaha, Nebraska. She says it's windy outside. Nairobi, there we go. All of my head is thinking, it is windy outside, but in Nebraska today it is 71 beautiful degrees. Tomorrow it will get cold. All right, let's look at the showcase from our intro video. First up is Cheryl L. Okay, Cheryl is so ready for winter. She made this perfect winter quilt that says, keep warm and cuddle on. And she used our big snowflakes.
Yeah, the 7-inch
snowflakes. Right? Yeah, and I bet she used cuddle fabric.
Yes, and all those shades of blue are just so perfect and so seasonal.
And do we think there's truly snow on that ground?
I mean, it kind of looks like it,
right?
really.
I guess some places have had snow.
Yeah.
Good job, Cheryl. Okay, next we have Monique. And this is super cute. Just a little table topper that says home. Emily, did you figure out what house that is?
I did. Okay, it's the Go Home by Stacy Mitchell die.
There it is. And it kind of looks like our birdhouse die.
Yeah, it kind of is.
So if you don't have that die by Stacy, you could certainly use our birdhouse die.
100%.
That would be really fun. And those big 3-inch uppercase alphabets. Last up is Diane M. She made, this is super cool. And I mean, not show any young children this because it is super cool. So it's a sword and a sorcery, and it has flying geese for days and a castle. And apparently it's for Benji because it says Benji at the bottom.
Oh, that's so sweet.
But look at how fun that is, Diane. Did a great job.
Excellent job, Diane.
Yes, I love the dragon in the middle.
Yeah, and she did, like the day scene with the castle, and then you got that starry night scene above it. It's just, what a showstopper.
Yeah, it's beautiful. All right, Quilters, today's show is all about completely changing the look of the Go Whirling Star. Today we're going to make it in just 3 colors to create the Go Intertwine lap quilt. We'll talk about it in just a second. But here is my photo of the day. This is my granddaughter Oakley. This is actually from about 2 years ago when Oakley first learned how to sew. She started by sewing little circles onto squares, and then we got her a sewing machine, and now she can sew blocks together, and she loves it. So the question of the day is, who have you mentored to become a quilter? I'm excited to hear all of your answers. You can put the answer in the comment section wherever you stream our show, okay? Today I'm going to give away one of our Go Whirling Star dies. Be sure and register for future events on the AccuQuilt event page for your chance to win. By registering, you'll receive event emails. That way you'll never miss an exciting tutorial. The amazing Emily will announce the winner of our registered viewer at the end of our show. All right, so for today's project, it is behind Emily. It's called the Go Intertwine. Yes. Our good friend Steph Jacobson from Steph Jacobson Designs made this.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So for our project, you're going to need the Whirling Star die, a 6x24 cutting mat, and fat quarters of white and pink and purple because we're going to change the colorway.
Ooh.
All right? Now, since we're changing the placement of the colors, it's going to have a completely different look than our traditional Whirling Star block. So first of all, let me show you this block. So this is the traditional Whirling Star block. Usually make it in 4 colors, and it kind of gives it that look of a snowflake.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or a pointed star. And here's one that the lovely Erica made out of scrappy whites.
Love that.
So it's really a fun block to kind of use up your scraps, bust up your stash. This one was great. Here's one that she made for spring, for Valentine's Day. Because now that Halloween is over, Valentine's Day is my next favorite holiday. So, so this one's really fun for spring. And then she kind of made one in all blues to kind of give it that look of the snowflakes.
It's lovely.
Which is great. So this is traditional block, and I'm gonna walk back here, Justin. This is by Amanda Harwood of Larkspur Quilts. I love this quilt because she took our Whirling Star block and turned it on point. And then she used our, since it makes a 12-inch block, she used our 12-inch cube and turned these blocks on points. And she's gonna use shape number 3 and shape number 4 to create these little blocks that kind of look like pinwheels.
Really does,
Right?
yeah, very
And
cool.
I love that this is bright and bold, and this is muted, and it's called Fire and Something. Something, Brock, do you know?
I'll bring it up.
Firestorm. There we go.
That's right.
And I just think that this is a really cool pattern. And the thing that she used as well as the die and the cube was our 12-inch setting triangles. And Emily, we've talked about this for the last couple of weeks,
Yeah.
where we have just used the side setting triangles
Yeah.
to complete our projects.
It just gives.
The setting triangles have the corners and the sides, but in this particular quilt, because they're 12 inches, Amanda just used the 2 sides.
That's so clever.
Again, a free pattern at AccuQuilt.com. We have tons of inspiration. You can check out our previous shows. They're on our Facebook and YouTube channels and on our website. All right, so the different kinds of ways to make the block. Now, the block that we're gonna make today, I'm gonna show you just a little sample. Look at this.
It's so cute.
Just think it's so cute. And every time the lovely Erica sees it, she thinks it looks like a spool of thread.
It totally does.
I kind of think that when you see it close like this, I purposely used a directional fabric, you know, where there's a print on it, because to me it looks like yarn that's been spun together.
Oh, look at that.
Right?
Yeah. It really does.
You can decide.
Clever.
You can decide for yourself. Okay, so let's look at the die. All right, pull all of my good pieces off here. All right. First of all, it's on a 6x24 die board. It's gonna fit through all of our cutters, including that Go Me. Today I'm gonna use my Go Big because I can.
Why not?
It has 3 distinct shapes. These trapezoids, I can't even imagine doing the math to figure out how to cut those by hand.
No, thank you.
First of all. And shape, so A and B are trapezoids, and then shape C are these great little half square triangles that are gonna fit on the edge of our block. Because when you look at that block, you might think it has Y seams.
Right.
It does not. Okay, so just keep that in mind. This is a perfect block for a beginner quilter, somebody new to AccuQuilt. If you can sew a 1/4-inch seam, you can make Whirling Star blocks, okay? Now, I wanna talk about this for just a second because shape A and shape B are both trapezoids, but where they lay in the block, we wanna cut on the lengthwise grain.
Right.
So with this block, you're gonna see this shape B is white. They're on the outside. So for sure you wanna have that lengthwise grain so it's nice and tight.
Right.
Where shape A, we've cut on the lengthwise grain, it's in the middle of the block.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you that the lengthwise grain matters. Okay? All right, so let's lay some fabric out. And normally I just have fabric already cut, but I really want to talk about subcutting because this is such a fun die. So my shape B, I measured from here to here, added 1/4 inch on either side, and just rough cut width of fabric. Now, see right here, this is the salvage edge, This is the lengthwise grain. You want the lengthwise grain parallel to these lengthwise blades.
Perfect.
That way you're gonna get a good, clean cut. Okay, so I'm gonna lay that over here. And then I'm gonna show you with shape A, I just measured from here to here. It's about 5¼ inches. So it's too big for a charm pack.
Oh, right.
Because that's the question people are going to ask. They're going to say, oh, can I use my charm packs?
Sure.
Nope. All right, so you just want to rough cut 5¾ inch with the fabric. Again, look, here's my selvage edge. I want it parallel to those lengthwise blades. And I can go back and forth. How many layers can I cut in one pass, Emily?
6.
6. Today I'm just going to cut 4 because that's how many you need for a block.
Perfect.
Okay? And then I did the same thing down here on shape C. So again, it's about 5¼ inches. So rough cut with the fabric.
And Pam, while we're looking at the die, Sheila from Connecticut is wondering if A and B shapes are the same size.
Are A and B the same size? They are not. We had this discussion before, and the reason I know that is because I cut them with paper on cardstock.
Okay.
Okay, and they're just a little bit different, but most importantly, it's about that lengthwise grain.
Sure.
Okay, because what you don't want to have is, this is our lengthwise grain, you don't want to have it in the middle of your block.
Right.
Right? You want that lengthwise grain in the middle of your block and on the edge of your block.
That's right. Okay.
That's a great question. Okay, and that's how you can tell it. Did you know you could cut paper with your dies?
You sure can.
You
Yes,
can.
you can.
I cut cardstock with them all the time. Okay, and I'm just going to lay my fabric here. And then what I've done is just cut with the fabric strip, right? And again, here's my selvage edge. I'm going to make sure that I come past.
And that's a smart trick to just leave the salvage edge on, because then that's kind of your cheat sheet right there.
It is. It is indeed. Okay. Now you have a couple of options here. If I were using my Go Me fabric cutter,
Yep.
it's only 6 inches wide. So I would cut this off. You know, I would measure and I would cut this off, or, you know, I can go 6 layers.
Right.
All right. But since I'm using my Go Big, or you could use your Go, I'm not going to worry about that. So,
Yeah.
because it's only going to cut where there's fabric and a mat.
Yep. You've got all that extra clearance and the width for
Yes.
you, so it's all good to go.
Yep. Okay.
Love
All right, so I'm going to put my mat on. I'm going to use it, and I'm going to move my drink. Emily, while we cut, tell us who people mentored.
Yes. Okay, this is so wonderful. So Judy says, I'm so lucky that I've been able to teach all 4 of my granddaughters make a quilt.
Oh, that's fabulous.
That is just lovely. Jeannie says, my friends and grandkids.
There you go.
Deborah R. taught my daughters to quilt when they were 4. It's all in
that's
the
bitty.
family. That is so much fun.
So little at
And then we
4.
had this really fun comment from Jenny about, you know, what the block looks like. It kind of, you know, whether it's a
Oh, yeah,
spool.
whether it's spools of thread or what.
So Jenny says that her son, being a Star Wars fan, she sees a spool of thread, but also the TIE fighter from Star Wars.
At our house, that's what they thought it was, too.
Really?
Yeah. Taylor's like, oh, my gosh.
It's a Star Wars
No. No, they all thought that, too. It was hilarious. All right, so now here, look, I'm just pulling back my fabric. All right, and I have some scraps over there. And now I'm going to be able to put my block together, okay? So here's my pro tip. We're just gonna put the blocks in the order in which we want to sew them together, okay? So here's my hot pink, okay? And here's my purple.
This is such a fun color combo.
Okay, listen. I can sew these blocks when I am not talking so fast. They are such easy blocks to sew together, okay? That's it.
Wow.
How simple and fast is that, right? So we've cut off the dog ears. We have that 1/4 inch seam built right in, and that's enough for an entire block in one pass through the cutter.
That's a piece of cake.
Okay, so before I start sewing, Emily, are there questions?
Yes, we do have some
Or
questions.
our people are talking about who they mentored?
Yes, all of the things. Let's see, Miss Sheila asks, What is the name of the clear material you use for making a template?
Oh, okay. Go to the office supply store and tell them you need overhead paper, right? It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
those clear sheets.
It's kind of like vinyl or something like
Yeah,
that.
they're not even
almost?
vinyl. They're just clear sheets.
They're just-
Okay,
yeah.
Emily, you're not old enough to know this, but when I was a child, we had overhead projectors, and our teachers, drew on them, and then you could erase them.
I do remember
So they're
that.
just clear sheets. They're just clear plastic.
One of
They're
my
very
math-
thin.
Yeah, one of my math teachers actually used one of those.
My math teacher did too, which is probably why I don't know how to do it. Okay, so I'm going to start sewing these together, okay? Because we're just going to make blocks for days.
Excellent.
All right, go ahead, Emily.
Well, Cynthia G is wondering, will cutting wax paper harm the cutter?
No, it doesn't, and neither does cutting parchment paper. So you're going to get thousands of cuts out of those dies. The thing that's going to wear out is your cutting mat.
Exactly.
When your die stops cutting cleanly, then that's when it's time to replace your mat. Okay? Which also brings up the question, why doesn't every die come with a mat? Emily, any idea?
Well, you would have a million mats on hand.
You'd have a million mats.
And they last for so long, for
Right.
quite a while. So, yeah, if you were to get a mat with every die, it would just be like you wouldn't know what to do with all those cutting mats.
Right. And sometimes you just want to cut one of the shapes on the die, and
Yeah.
so use a smaller mat to do that.
Exactly. Yeah, you can kind of mix and match and customize if you want.
All right, we're just sewing trapezoids for days. Okay, what else?
Love this.
What other things are people doing to help their mentors?
So Miss Carolyn says, I have 10 grandkids and I think I've sewn with them all. They need the basics for life.
I love it.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, it's such a cool skill to teach
It is.
kiddos. And, even if it's just basic sewing skills, like,
Right.
who hasn't needed to hem a pant leg or something in their day,
Right. Right.
So cool.
I think that's fabulous.
Let's see, Pat taught her daughter.
Excellent.
Suzanne C says she's teaching my 6-year-old great-granddaughter to sew. She loves using the Gomi and cutting out her shapes.
See, get those kids started early.
Yes.
My granddaughter Oakley started when she was about 4 with the Gomi. And now, because she's 8 and she just thinks she's above that, she only uses the Go Big. So she thinks it's so much fun. And oftentimes she will help me test dies,
Oh, sure.
which I think is super fun.
That's awesome.
She said to me the other day, she came over and she wanted to make something, and she said, "Where's that guy with a hat?" And I said, "The guy with the hat?" She goes, "Yeah, that little short guy with the hat." I said, "Oh, the gnome."
Oh, that's cute.
So, yeah. Okay, look, ta-da, ta-da.
Yay.
We've just been chain piecing. Okay,
So wonderful.
so I'm gonna cut my chain, and then I'm gonna start on the next one, and we're gonna make sure we sew it correctly.
Right.
Hold on here.
Look how easy. I mean, you just chain piece that in like 2 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So now we're going to add this half square triangle to this side of the trapezoid. And look how good this comes together because we've cut off the dog ears.
Ugh.
Okay.
It's
So
a
I'm
thing
going to
of
make sure
beauty.
my whole stack is going the right way so I don't mess up. All right. Where else? Who else have people been mentoring? And don't forget, quilters, if you have questions, you can put those in the comments section.
Yes. Ooh, and speaking of, Melanie Claire is looking for a little bit of, just to confirm, so the lengthwise grain always runs parallel to the label side of the die.
Yes, I tell you that helps you get a good reference point.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And the shapes on the die are at an angle because there are steel rollers in the cutter and steel blades in the die. And if it was straight on the die board, every time those blades would hit that steel rollers, it'd be like, a speed bump. You know, you get that jarring effect.
Yes.
But if you take one speed bump at a time, it comes together perfectly. So
Exactly.
look how perfect my little pieces are lining up
Oh.
because I cut them on the lengthwise grain and I'm sewing the 1/4 inch seam.
That is just
I
delightful.
know, this is such a fun black. And we're going to talk about different colorways that you might make it because you could make it for all the seasons. If you missed any of our Whirling Star shows, you can watch them on our Facebook page and our YouTube channels.
Sure can. And it looks like, oh, Amelia is wondering, so you know how you said you compared the two trapezoid sizes?
Yes.
Could we do the same with, you know, since we've got two in different colors after or would it show the difference now that we've sewn them together?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know, just to kind of compare the two trapezoids.
Here, look. Listen, we have all sorts of things.
We got all of it. But yeah, that is a good question. It's kind of nice to visualize just the, yeah.
Okay, so see, it's just a little bit smaller.
Yep, and even that 1/8 of an inch, whatever it is, that makes such a huge
And
difference.
this one is meant to have the half square triangle sewn to the top. This one is meant to have the half square triangle sewn to the side.
Right, because
So somebody who does math way better than me figured that out. But I think that that's a really valid question because as quilters, we want to know what the shapes are.
Exactly.
But mostly they're on the die board like that for lengthwise grain. Okay? That shape, whatever it is, A, needs to have, because it's in the middle of my block.
Yes.
Okay?
Oh, that makes
But that's
sense.
a great question.
Right? Our quilters are so thoughtful with their questions.
Oh, so quilters are all going to ask, can you make this with your cube? And the answer is not, you cannot. This size does not exist in any cube. But it's super fun block. I love it.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, I love all these comments about mentorship.
Okay, I'm
This is just
excited to hear 'em.
Wonderful. So Cheryl Ann is mentoring her daughter. She said, we're getting ready to start a Christmas rag quilt for each of us.
Oh, how fun. I hope you're using a die for that rag quilt.
I sure hope so, because oh my goodness, I would never cut that by myself. Let's see, Miss Annette, her mom mentored her, and she continues to mentor her brother.
Oh, that's really fun. Okay, look.
His first,
Ta-da.
oh, ta-da. She says that his first quilt was the wonky heart.
Oh, I made a wonky heart quilt. That was one of my first.
Yeah.
I think that's such a sweet die.
That was actually one of my first projects too, because there was a wonky heart die that, you know, that I was able to use and made that sweet little Valentine's table runner that we have on
Yes, I remember that.
That was such a fun table
How
runner.
long have you worked with us now?
2 years
Gosh.
and a couple, 2 years and change now.
Okay.
Bananas.
Bananas is what my sister-in-law from Trinidad says.
Bananas.
Okay, now I want to talk about pressing here because these two seams are gonna nest. She says. So I want one of my seams to go towards the trapezoid and the other of my seam I'm gonna press towards the half square triangle. So I'm gonna press my half square triangle away from my white trapezoid. Okay? And then for this one, because it's going to go here, I'm going to press it towards the trapezoid.
Okay.
Okay?
And this is why.
And remember, pressing is not
Excuse me.
this.
Right.
That's ironing.
And this is why I love our
See, look.
book. Oh, look at that.
It's perfect every time. Okay, so I'm going to press while Emily talks about people in their mentoring.
Yes. Well, and I wanted to point out too that this, you know, this is just the beauty of the system that, you know, our patterns give you all those pressing instructions. So if you're ever like here, you know, if you ever forget or need to.
Right, or you can go to the website. We do videos for all of our dies.
Yeah.
So if you forget, or you can come back and watch this one.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They all live on our Facebook and YouTube, so it's just perfect.
Here we go.
Let's see, Miss Gloria.
Hi, Gloria.
so she mentors her mom, who is now 85.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, she's not able to sew any longer, unfortunately, but she loves to cut out the fabric, which
love
is
it.
just lovely.
I love it.
The families that quilt together, right?
Right.
Anne says she's mentored her oldest daughter and 2 grandchildren.
Oh, there you go.
Lots of
Generations, boy. I'm loving that.
It really is just so wonderful. I love this. Okay, Martha says, I was a junior 4-H leader many years ago. I taught my 2 daughters, and now I've been trying to teach my granddaughter when she isn't playing field hockey, tennis, and competing on trampoline team. Okay, trampoline team.
That's a sport.
Martha, more about trampoline team, please. She says it's been a little bit of a slow process just because she's so busy, but now I have to know what a trampoline team is.
Right?
Like, do you do flips and
I assume
and
so,
tricks,
right?
Right? Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
I wish they had trampoline club when I was.
They had trampoline team when Emily was young. She'd be a trampoline expert.
I would have. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Community engagement expert. Is that your title?
Yes.
There we go. Got to be good at something.
Exactly, right?
We do love trampolines at our house.
They're, who doesn't love one, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so look, I'm just pressing these to the other side.
Oh, wonderful.
And while I'm pressing, the question we're going to ask is, how does the AccuQuilt system improve my quilting? Okay, I'm going to tell you, if you tried to cut these blocks by hand, well, you'd have to use a template or paper piecing. They would never be this perfect. And perfect cuts, better cuts make better quilts.
They really do.
If you're cutting it correctly, then you're going to be able to sew them together correctly, and it's going to be just beautiful.
Exactly. It's all just going to come together.
It is. Okay, so look how long it took me I think it took me longer to iron them than it did to press them than it did to sew them all together. Okay, now, this is how it's going to go together. We're going to create half blocks.
Oh.
We're going to sew them all together just like this. Okay, here's
All right.
my trapezoid, my white trapezoid, and my hot pink, and then there's my purple. And look, that's what you want, because look at all that stretch.
That's a lot of stretch, yeah.
So you want that nice high tight in the center so your block doesn't go wonky. All right, keep going, Emily. I'd love to hear all of these fun stories.
Yes, and we have a good question from Anita M.
Hi, Anita M.
She's wondering if I'm using flannel, can I still cut 6 layers? That's a very good question.
Oh, I'm going to tell you, I would only cut 4 layers of flannel. And flannel is kind of ambiguous as to thickness.
Right.
So, if it's just regular flannel, yeah, I would cut 4 layers. I would, if it's thicker, 2 or 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, that's a great question.
Exactly. Yeah, and you can kind of always start low and then
Yeah,
try
start
working
on the
your
low
way up
end.
a little bit. Yeah. Kind of a best practice there for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see, more fun mentor stories. Oh, okay, cool. Angela says, my mother taught me to sew on a 1940 Singer featherweight, which I have.
Oh my gosh.
This just sounds so familiar. My first project was a skirt made out of colorful feed sacks. It was green with purple flowers, and I loved it.
Oh my gosh, and I love that she still sews on that featherweight.
Right?
Emily sews on a featherweight.
I sure do. I know, we're like the Singer sisters.
And it was your mom?
My grandma's.
Your grandma. See, there you go.
And it's just so ironic because it just sat in Mom's garage for decades, and she's like, "Oh, hey, you work for a quilting company, take this." And I'm like,
Emily rescued it.
I did. I rescued it from the garage and certain death.
Yeah, that's fabulous.
Yeah. And
okay, so look, I'm just chain piecing for days here.
just look at that. So easy peasy. I'm gonna have to take this one on myself actually, because it's just.
I know, this is such an easy block to do.
Yeah.
And you could totally make it scrappy. We'll talk about that here in just a few minutes.
Definitely.
All right, who else are people mentoring?
Yes. Let's see. Oh, this is cute. Janet says her daughter doesn't like to sew, but loves to buy fabric for me to make her quilts.
Oh, listen, I could buy fabric for you.
That's adorable.
I know. Okay, you know, so back earlier this summer, my goal was to not buy any more fabric for the year.
Yes.
I have broken that goal a couple of times.
Well, when you go
tell
to
ya.
places and you just see all the amazing artistry that's out there and the
Oh,
designs,
yeah.
and yeah, it's hard to resist. That's for sure.
I know, but that's okay. In 2023, I have a new goal because in 2022, all of my projects I bound in striped binding.
Right.
So I have a new thing I'm going to do in 2023.
Ooh.
Okay, here we go.
Stay tuned to see what that is, folks. Oh, this is sweet. So Debbie B says that my grandsons, who are now 6 and 9, have worked with me for several years. This summer, I had to laugh when the oldest was sewing along with one hand and talking to me over his shoulder. Turned out great. They love to cut out their shapes.
I love it.
That's awesome.
Oh, speaking of which, we met some really great folks when we were in Houston for Quilt Festival.
Yeah.
And I have to give a huge shout out to Michael. Michael, his wife watches our show every Wednesday, and he's always in the other room, but he comments on the show. He never watches it, but he can hear it in the other room. And so, hi, Michael. Okay, all right, so now I'm gonna press my seams. You can press them open. I'm actually gonna press them to one side. Look at this.
Oh, wow.
Those points come together perfectly because we sewed them at a 1/4 inch seam.
Right.
We cut them perfectly. We sewed them perfectly. We took our time. You know, quilters, I have been on this show where I've made mistakes, and we stopped to fix those.
Yeah.
Don't think that, oh, it's okay, you know, it won't matter. No, it really does matter. It's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah.
You spent the time. You know, make sure you're getting your blocks where they need to be.
For sure.
All right, so we're almost ready to sew our 4 blocks together, our units. I love these little triangle units. Okay. Do we have more people who are mentoring, Emily? Or do we have questions?
We have let's see. Okay, so Joni is wondering, isn't it hot under your gray wool mat as you iron? Doesn't your cutting mat get hot? Oh, like underneath the actual
so
wool.
I just put my hand in her. No,
Yeah, it's nice and
it's not.
thick.
It's nice and thick.
I love the wool mat. It's a lifesaver for sure.
Oh my, yes. No,
And
but that's a good question.
Yeah, and
My iron is very hot.
it really, really is too.
And I make sure that, you know, I put it up. Okay.
Exactly.
All right, we're almost
More.
done. We're going to be ready to sew our 4 blocks together.
Oh my
in
gosh, look at
so
this
fast.
go.
I know.
Okay, love this. So Martha responded about trampoline team.
Oh, thank you, Martha.
It is part of gymnastics, and they do all types of flips. I think it was 2000 it became a sport in the Olympics.
No way.
So cool.
That is really fun. See, the things you learn on Wednesdays,
Seriously.
hanging out with us, learning about that.
Love that.
Now that she says that, when Oakley, my granddaughter, was little and took gymnastics, they had a trampoline section, and she would jump into like styrofoam.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
blocks.
the big, the big
Blocks.
pits of styrofoam. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yeah, those are a blast.
So now we're going to take these 8 units, sew them together to create 4 blocks. Now, if this isn't your favorite colorway, be sure to check out the Go Quilt program. It's on the AccuQuilt website. This design tool allows you to change the colorway of thousands of patterns, including this one. It's a free program, and it has a short tutorial. Also, if you go to the website, to the product page where the Whirling Star is, there's, it's called Block Assembly Instructions.
Correct.
And if you open it up, it's going to tell you how to sew the block together, which is crucial. Okay, because in your quilting head, you think, oh, I'm going to know. But this is a coloring page.
Yes.
So for example, if I just wanted to make my whole quilt scrappy then I could color here, you know.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then I would know what colors to put, and then I would know the rest would be white or whatever neutral color.
Yes.
So this is the coloring page. It's on all of our block assembly instructions.
And it's funny too, because I feel like in the coloring page, you can almost, it's a lot easier to visualize that quarter block, right? Like,
Oh, right.
for this pattern that we're making, because I was having trouble seeing it like in the Whirling Star, but now that I'm seeing it on the coloring page, it's like, oh yeah, there's that quarter block. There it is. Yeah.
I know. That's why our pattern designers are so amazing. I mean, Stephanie did such a great job, you know, looking at the shapes and saying, oh, you know, I'm going to make it in a totally different way.
Exactly.
Just using 3 colors instead of 4. Color makes a huge difference. We talk about this on our show a lot.
Yes.
You know, just don't randomly just choose your colors. Think about, you know, where you want them to go in the quilt, or, you know, do you want it to be an accent color?
Exactly.
That kind of, those are really valid questions.
They really, really are. And that's where Gold Quilt has saved the day for me multiple times. I mean,
Oh, right.
because I think to myself, oh yes, I want, a solid in shape A and a print on shape B, and then
Right.
of course you look at it in Go Quilt and go, oh,
Right, because it creates the block for you.
yeah,
And then it prints out a new pattern for you.
Yeah.
So for me, I use Go Quilt all the time.
yeah,
I just think it's such a great tool.
exactly. It takes just all the guesswork out of it before you go ahead and cut your fabric. And
Right.
gosh, could you imagine cutting your fabric and going, that's not the colorway?
Oh, well,
want."
I made my Morning Star quilt. In my head, I had it a completely different way. And then I uploaded my fabric. You can take your own fabric.
Yeah.
And I uploaded my fabric and thought, oh, this isn't going to look the way that I want it to look. And then I was able to change the colorway, and it turned out phenomenal.
See, there you go.
All right, so I'm almost done sewing my blocks together.
Excellent. I'm just
And look how fast we did that.
oh,
And if I were making this whole quilt, I would have cut out all of my shape A's and all of my shape B's and all of my shape C's,
yes.
and then just chain pieced them together. And then put the blocks together. Okay? I mean, so smarter, not harder.
Precisely.
Okay?
Oh, we've got some more fun stories. But
All right, tell us.
Do we have? Okay, perfect.
We have plenty of time.
So Amelia says, my grandma, aunt, and mom made quilts by just cutting 4-inch squares and machine sewing together, then putting together with backing and batting on a wood frame by hand, big
Right.
tacking through all layers.
Right.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That
All
is
right,
really
so
cool.
now I am going to look at my cool blocks.
It's so cute.
They just come together perfectly, okay? Now, in the pattern, you're gonna need 20 of them, and they're gonna go different directions.
That's right. That's
Right?
right. Yeah.
And so they go like this. Oh, here, sorry guys. And then they go like this. So I'm gonna press this center seam just open. That way it's gonna lay nice and flat.
Oh, perfect.
But now look at this. Look at this cool secondary design you get
Right.
from the center.
Ah,
I like
so
it a
cool.
lot. I think Steph did a great job.
yeah.
Okay.
Really, really did.
All right, so I'm going to press these open while Emily reads the last of our comments.
Yes. So Miss Karen says, out of 5 daughters, 2 love to quilt, 2 like to just sew and kind of mess around.
Mess around.
Mess around. 1 doesn't like to sew at all. Out of 3 boys, nix to any sewing, although they know how to sew a button on.
There you go. Everybody should know how to sew a button.
Exactly.
That is so funny. Just messes around.
Yes.
I like that.
And this is so sweet. So Carol said that one of her granddaughters was watching her mend her mom's shirt. She says that she was so amazed by all of my stuff, in quotes.
Oh, yeah.
So-
you know, quilters, we have toys,
We
which is
do.
super fun.
We have all the fun things.
Yeah.
And she goes, she said, I asked her if she wanted to learn how to sew. She got so excited and said a big yes.
As it should be.
Sometimes it's all about the tool, all about the, the toys and
Yes.
the tools and the fun stuff that's like,
Right.
oh yeah, I want to check that out.
Yeah, and I need to have a better place for some of my stuff because I don't know. I feel like, my rotary cutter and maybe my seam ripper and stuff aren't in the best places possible. I need to get a tin or something to put them in. I don't know. I just think that's fun. Okay. So now we're going to turn our blocks in different directions and sew them together because while we're here, we're going to do that. Ooh, all right. And then we're going to press in opposite directions so our seams nest.
Those are so cute.
All right, Emily.
Oh, Pam, we have such a sweet comment from Jean.
Hi, Jean.
She says that arthritis and rheumatoid arthritis didn't help a rotary cutting. Nothing came together right until my husband gave me a go big for Christmas. I now enjoy showing people what I finish.
Oh, Jean, that's a sweet story.
That's a very sweet story. That's wonderful when our
We hear that from our customers, how, they aren't able to, due to arthritis or other things, be able to sew blocks together or cut blocks,
yeah.
With a rotary cutter. So kudos to Jean's husband.
Seriously, yeah, what a great guy. And then, okay, love this. Judy is teaching her 11-year-old grandson Aaron to quilt.
Good job, Judy.
Loves sewing on the sewing machine. Love this.
There's something really satisfying about being able to sew and sew a block together. I feel like that plane overhead is landing on our building.
I was gonna say, I feel like there's a plane coming up for a little flying. Oh, maybe it's a storm.
No, I think it's a plane. We live very close to Offutt Air Force Base. McCord is in Seattle.
That's right.
Okay, so look at this.
Oh.
Now I'm going to press in opposite directions, so we're going to sew our block together. All right, Emily, while I'm pressing this down, tell us the last couple of things.
Yes. Okay. So one last story. Okay, Mary Lou says I'm tutoring my neighbor who recently lost her husband. Pam met her at the Houston Quilt Festival. She was so impressed that she ordered the Go Me and the 8-inch cube.
Oh, wow. That's great. Oh, see? Did you all just now figure that out? I sewed it together wrong. I was talking. Oh, that's great. Okay, I'm going to fix it because what did we say? We're not going to just not fix it.
Right. We've got to go back and make sure it all comes together perfectly. Let me see if I have any other questions too. Ooh, we do have a couple of questions.
Oh, good. Ask me the questions because I'm going to rip this right out. And so I'm going to sew it together correctly.
Sarah has a Go Quilt question.
Okay.
Can you use Go Quilt to show a pattern for, say, this die and another 12-inch die bob?
Can you mix them together? So the answer is no. But EQ8 allows you to take different dies and put them together to make new patterns.
Yeah, EQ8 is
EQ8
brilliant.
is a phenomenal program. We have it available on our website, and it's just fabulous.
Yeah.
And we have what we call the Bob Block Library. So all of the Bob dies, like this is a block on board or a Bob die.
Yeah.
Our good friend Lori Miller, who we met at Quilt Festival, is working on updating that for 2023.
Yeah, which is going to be so fun.
That's a great question. So here's the difference between them. EQ8 allows you to create patterns. Go Quilt allows you to change color.
Right, exactly,
Okay.
on our existing
Okay, so
pattern.
quilters, when you're sewing your blocks together, lay them out correctly. See how I did that? I was just so excited about the whole concept.
Well, that's
didn't
okay.
do
They
it right.
kind of look like two little bow ties next to
They
each
do.
other.
All right, now we're gonna sew them together correctly, and then we're gonna press it, and then we're gonna do our other side.
Right. And then finally, Robin's wondering, are you back stitching on these blocks?
I am back stitching on these blocks because I have a whole lot of seams there.
Right.
So make sure you do a little back stitch.
Always a best practice.
Right, and then you're not gonna have that, it's not gonna unravel.
Oh, Miss Jenny, she is mentoring. She says, my daughter wants to quilt like me, but she's not quite old enough to sew on her own. So she gets to help cut fabric with the AccuQuilt cutter. And she says that that she will get the Little Go Me cutter when she starts sewing on her own.
Excellent. I feel like that's a great thing. So all of you quilters who own a Go Big or a Go fabric cutter, think about where you, and maybe you have some of those Go Me's, you know, we gave some away last year. Okay, so see, this is now correct.
Look
All
at
right,
that.
so I'm gonna put my seams together. Did I press it? I'm gonna press it this way. I'm gonna press my seams in opposite directions, and then they're gonna nest. And when I come to this center, I wanna make sure that I stop and make sure that I catch that 1/4 inch seam,
Right.
okay? All right, so I'm gonna start here. You know, it's just gonna come together perfectly because you cut it together
Exactly.
and sewed it together. All right, do we have one last question? It'll take me 36 seconds to sew this seam.
Let's see. Oh, this is cute. Jennifer says that she actually really liked them sewn the wrong way. She said it looks like wrapped candy.
It did look like wrapped candy. And sometimes that's how it works in life, right? You think, oh, this isn't right, and then yes,
You can make yourself a
indeed,
candy
it
quilt.
comes together.
Actually,
tell ya.
that would be kind of a fun idea to do. Is like a candy theme,
Like a little, yes, like peppermint twist
yeah,
or something.
something really fun like that.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. And that's the thing about this. It would be fun to make with striped fabric,
Oh, that would
right?
be really
So then
cute.
it would look like candy.
Yes.
Okay, see how I did here. Oh, look at that, quilters.
Dun,
All right, so my block, thank you. My block is sewn together correctly. And then I'm gonna take it to my big iron and give it a really good press. You need a total of 20 blocks to create the project. Once the top is done, you wanna layer the batting between the top and the backing. Pin or based, quilt is desired. Use your favorite binding method and don't forget to miter your corners. Be sure and share your finished projects with us on all of our social media platforms. All right, Emily, it's all up to you now, babe.
Me? All up to me?
All up to you.
Is it the time? Is it
It
that
is
time
the
of day?
time to announce our winner.
Oh my goodness, to see who's the lucky viewer who gets the Whirling Star Die. Could I get a drum roll, please? Our winner is Ann West of Dallas, Texas.
Congratulations, Anne.
So excited.
All right, real quick. This month's Die to Try is the Go North Carolina Star. It's only available to the end of the month, and we have limited supplies, okay? I wanted to show you something. I went to, excuse me, I went to an event over the weekend at our local retailer, and we cut and sewed this block together.
Fun.
This is the North Carolina Star. It has 7 distinct shapes, 2 half-square triangles, quarter-square triangles, 60-degree triangles. This is the shape for triangle and a rectangle, so the A and C or the D and C work together.
That's right.
And then obviously F is a square. So when you put this block together, I'm gonna move this.
Wow.
Because this is super cool. Hold on.
It really is such a stunning block, too.
It is really a stunning block. Okay. When you put this block together, you're gonna sew it in sections, okay?
Okay.
This section up here, when this unit is sewn together, it equals a 5-inch finished square. Okay?
Okay.
So think about pairing it up with
Like
your
a
10-inch cube.
Yeah.
Right? But we're going to talk about that in just a sec. All right? And then you create this center sashing section. Look at how fun this is.
Ooh, yeah.
And then you create the side. Okay?
Oh.
And you're going to sew this block together. It's going to make a 12-inch finished block. It gives you that secondary look there. But at the event, the ladies were like, wait, Pam, don't sew it together yet. And I said, okay. They said, take out this under sashing.
Okay.
And I said, okay. And they said, put them together.
Oh.
So look at this.
Wow.
Right? So these are still all from the North Carolina Star.
Yeah.
And then they said, oh, wait, it's a rectangle. And I said, that's okay, because what if we add this sashing to the side?
Ooh.
So actually it would look like sashing between the blocks.
Right.
Right? Okay, so in your quilting head, you're already going, oh, this is super cool. Then let's do that trick where we show you how to put 4 of these 5-inch blocks together, or these units. Ooh, I'm gonna pin. Eric would be so proud of me. Hold on. I'm gonna pin so it stays down. Actually, I think it'll be okay. Okay. And then I'm gonna put it here.
Oh, it's like a little snowflake.
It is like a little snowflake.
Oh.
So the North Carolina Star has so many great different ways that you can put the block together. You can obviously build the North Carolina Star block, which is, you know, what I set out to do. But in this particular class, we just came up with some really cool ideas on different ways to sew it together.
Yeah.
So if you're kind of on the fence about, oh gosh, should I get the North Carolina Star? My answer to that is yes, you should. Because not only does it create these super cool blocks, but you have 7 distinct shapes that you can use in other projects or with other cubes. So it finishes to 12-inch. You can use the 12-inch cube or other bobs, or you could use the 10-inch cube. So it's only available while supplies last, and we have limited ones on our website. Be sure and check it out. Hey, so next week, we have a special event. We are partnering with our good friends at Dime, and they are going to teach us how to take AccuQuilt shapes and build blocks in the hoop on your embroidery machine. Wow. It's going to be totally different than anything we've ever seen. We're really excited to partner with them. So make sure you register for that event, and we're going to show you some really fantastic things. So next Wednesday at 12 noon Central Time. All right, quilters, on behalf of all of us here in the Dream Studio, we have Brock and Justin and Joe, and of course Emily. I'm Pam Heller. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. To learn more about your quilting craft, be sure to follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for live events every Tuesday and Wednesday. You can check out the events page on the AccuQuilt website for more details on upcoming shows. And if you're looking for even more inspiration, visit our blog for exclusive tutorials filled with tips and tricks. And remember, at AccuQuilt, we help you cut time so you can quilt more. Okay, and don't forget to join us on Tuesday, November 15th at 12 noon Central Time as we have modern magic with classic blocks. We are going to release not 1, but 2 new dies. Then join us again on Friday, November 18th for a special show at 12 noon Central Time. We're going to be showcasing projects and ideas for checking off your gift and AccuQuilt wish lists.